More bad news for California taxpayers as Democrat politicians gear up to raise your taxes in the 2026 midterm election. But there's a way to stop them, but we've got to start now. Coming up, we'll tell you what plot they are hatching to raise your taxes and what you can do to help us fight back. I'm Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California and a California state legislator. And I've already told you about California's cost of living crisis. And it's not like I have to tell you about it. You're living it. The highest price on everything right here in California, by far, in every category of your household budget. And now it's about to get worse with California politicians wanting to raise your taxes. But we are fighting back. And it's going to take a massive statewide revolt in the 2026 midterm election to stop their tax raising schemes. Let me jump right into it. First and foremost, we have a new report out, and this it comes as no surprise. On the naughty list again, California ranks 48th for the worst tax climate in the U.S. And the report comes from the U.S. Tax Foundation. In California, we're ranked 48, but the only thing that is our saving grace, somewhat, is Prop 13. The fact that Prop 13 caps the property tax at a 1% of assessed value with a 2% inflationary marker each year. If we did not have Prop 13, we'd be 50 out of 50, guaranteed. But what's really driving us up are the sales taxes, we're number 46, individual taxes at 49, and corporate taxes at 41. All of these are directly linked with the cost of living crisis and makes California very uncompetitive. Here are the best states, by the way, and there's something you're going to notice about the best states. Top 10 best states in the index: Wyoming, South Dakota, New Hampshire, Alaska, Florida, Montana, Texas, Tennessee, Idaho, Indiana. What do all these states have in common? That's right, they're red states, with the exception of New Hampshire, can be kind of purplish. Let's take a look at the 10 worst. Hawaii, Vermont, Massachusetts, Minnesota, Washington, Maryland, Connecticut, California, New Jersey, New York. What do all 10 of these have in common? Oh, that's right, they're run by liberal Democrats. What's so interesting, though, is if you notice the latest message arc of Democrats, from Gavin Newsom to Hakeem Jeffries and every Democrat and Looney Tune leftist in between, they're all harping on cost of living, cost of living, cost of living. This is like the devil complaining about sin. They're trying to lay blame for the cost of living crisis at the feet of Donald Trump. Remember, Trump inherited a massive inflationary environment when he was sworn in 11 months ago. And he's done his best to try to turn the tide. Yes, he's taken on the issue of unfair trade and it used tariffs, and those do have impacts on the sorts of products that you're buying from overseas. In time, though, that will reverse itself because we're going to start producing more here in this country. There's a strategy behind what Trump is trying to do, and that is to help you, to make sure that we have a manufacturing base, to create jobs, and yes, to lower prices. What are the Democrats trying to do? They're trying to steal your job by sending it overseas because they're all for unfair trade. And they're raising your taxes here and increasing your cost of living through all sorts of crazy mandates, taxes, mandates, fees, regulations. That's what's going on. And Republicans need to wake up and start educating people on this. Here in the state of California, it all boils down to your cost of living penalty. As I brought you the story last week, the Transparency Foundation has a great study out showing that California imposes a cost of living penalty of $29,753.16. And this is an annualized report. This is what you pay in penalty for a higher cost of living in California versus if you were just paying the average cost of living in other states. We are 124% higher for homeowners, 50% higher for renters. Gas is 50% more. Food is 27% more. Water is 48%. Healthcare 5%. Oh, look at state and local taxes. 45% higher. In every category, by the way. childcare, electricity, car insurance. We are higher cost of living than other states. But let's isolate down the taxes. You would think that with this $29,000, almost $30,000 cost of living um, penalty that Democrats have imposed, you would think now that they're like showboating, saying, "Oh, Trump is bad on cost of living," you would think that they would kind of back off of raising taxes. No, bitch, please. They're doubling down on cray cray. Here is election night. Look at all these liberals hooting and hollering. Oh, and that I think is what's his face? The flatulence guy from Congress that's now running for governor. Oh, Eric Swalwell. You can see Eric Swalwell. There he is, clapping. All these Democrats supporting a Measure A in the Bay Area that raised taxes, sales taxes, which are the most regressive form of taxes in the Bay Area. And that hurts struggling families, working families the most. A sales tax is a regressive tax. And they're sitting there, look at them, they're fist pumping and shooting and hooting and hollering. You know what? These are the thieves. These are probably all lobbyists. They all work for entities that are getting the money. Usually these are government contractors. Oh, and they're so pleased with themselves. Look what we just did. We just stuck it to the little guy again. And we're going to blame the Republicans for it. They're hooting and hollering, celebrating tax increases. So what can we do? Well, first we can educate people. Subscribe to this channel because 84% of you are not. When you subscribe, not only do you get a notification when we post a new video every day at 5 o'clock, new episode of Reform California with Carl DeMaio, but you help us spread the word about truth about what's going on in California news and politics. The liberal media isn't going to bring these stories out into the open. Also, chip in a contribution at reformcalifornia.org. reformcalifornia.org. Sign up on our website at the bottom so you can be part of our growing movement. Now, let me tell you what specifically we're doing. In the next election, first and foremost, we have 26 candidates that we're supporting in 26 target seats. And if we get 7 of those seats, we break the supermajority in Sacramento. Why is that key? The first important thing we have to do in 2026, break the supermajority in Sacramento so we can stop the bleeding. If we can take away the supermajority, they don't have a 2/3 vote, the Democrats can't raise your taxes. It's crucial. We need to win these 7 seats. Reform California is leading the grassroots campaign to help these 26 candidates compete and hopefully win. 7 seats is all it takes. Chip in a contribution. We also are fighting the plan that Democrats have to raise your taxes. They're putting a wealth tax on the ballot. Oh, they say it's just going to tax the billionaires, and that's what their proposal starts with, but very soon as they create the wealth tax, that'll be expanded to all levels of income and all levels of society. Anything you have that you scrounge and save, your retirement fund, your savings account, your current value in your home, all of that will be taxed. Oh, you say, well, wait a minute, I'm already taxed on my income and my sales. What I buy through a sales tax, I get charged when I put gas in my car. I get charged on my electricity bill, my water bill. I even get charged on my property. Yes, and they're about to tax everything again through a wealth tax. When they created the income tax in the 1910s, the politicians said, oh, it's only for the most super uber rich. And everyone went along with it. Are you paying an income tax today? Oh, you are. Even the poorest among us get caught up in that income tax. So we cannot allow another form of taxation to be created, which is why we're opposing this initiative they're putting on the ballot. The wealth tax, or as I call it, the savings tax. So we already know that that's going to be on the ballot, and that's an existential threat. We also know that there are usually between 250 and 300 local tax increases on the ballot each cycle. We need to gear up and file opposition statements to each of those local taxes so people know what they're voting on, and get our plain English voter guide distributed throughout the state so people can vote down on the local tax measures. A lot of people voted yes on Measure A in the Bay Area because they didn't know what they were voting on. They thought they were voting just on a transportation initiative. And then finally, we're helping the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association save Prop 13. And I would like to invite you to go to their website, hjta.org. They have a petition that you can sign. If they get 1 million signatures, if we help them get 1 million signatures, we can put the Taxpayer Protection Initiative on the ballot to strengthen the 2/3 vote requirement to raise taxes. Right now, it's a 50% vote requirement on a lot of tax increases. We want to restore Prop 13's full power by restoring the 2/3 vote requirement on local earmarked taxes. So go to hjta.org and sign that petition. There's a lot of work that we have to do to turn the tide on the cost of living crisis in California, but it starts with rejecting the tax increases. Help us do that. Go to reformcalifornia.org and join the fight. Until next time, I'm Carl DeMaio, Chairman of Reform California and a California State Representative. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. But before you click away, please subscribe to this channel and click that notification button so you get updated when we post new episodes. Plus, like this video and share it with your friends so that we can help spread our message across the state.